Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to our live session of eIMMIGRATION. My name is Vanessa Vargas on behalf of Cerenade. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about calendar appointments, deadlines, and reminders. And as always, please know that this is being recorded and you can always watch the video later. Also, we provide the PowerPoint presentation, and if you want to download it, you can click on handouts and you can download the PowerPoint with the links. All right, let's get started. So as always, we try to give you guys a quick overview of the basic steps on how to create a client, how to link the members, and create a case. I'm going to show you how to create reminders, how to use a calendar and integrate if you have Office 365, your Google Calendar, and also if you have a subscription with Acuity, the scheduling service, so that your clients can look at your availability and book an appointment. And then we're going to show you what the smart alerts are and how you can use them, the managing documents expiration dates, user-defined documents, how to customize that as well, the client portal access, and the tickler, how you can customize it. All right, so let's begin. I'm going to switch my screen. This is the caseworker portal. Okay, so this is the main window, and you first need to create an account or a profile for either a prospect or an active client. So this is your first step. Also, make sure that if you are new, you customize in the admin portal so that the system can auto-generate the client numbers. When you create the account, it looks more like this. Let me open an existing one. You can include the picture of the client and enter as much information as possible. Don't forget to save the changes. By the way, it's not going to let you save if there's nothing to save unless you make changes. Then it will enable the button so that you can save the changes. If you guys have any questions, you can message me. By the way, you can chat me your questions as we go through the training. All right, so I have the contact profile. Today, I'm not going to talk about questionnaires, but I want you to know that you can send the clients questionnaires, or you can print them, or even use the alternate view to capture the information yourself if you don't want to necessarily send the questionnaire to the client. And the idea is that you want to capture as much information as possible. You have other fields or sections here on the right-hand side where you can include the client's address information or history or background info, and even custom fields that you can create. You can create these custom fields in the administrator portal so that you can ask additional questions and keep them in the system. Or even better, you can transfer them to a form. If you want to have a specific question included in a questionnaire, you can create that as well and map it to the form. Anyway, so you want to have as much info as possible. And then step number 2 is for you to link the family members. Or if it's an employment-based case, then you would have the employer's account or profile. And then when you click on members, it's going to ask you to link the employees or the signatories or a joint, like a consulting attorney. Anyway, so you want to link them as well. So regardless if it's family or employment-based case, you should be linking the members, and then the system will transfer their data to the forms. Okay. The way you link a member is by clicking here, link member. You either search if they are in the system, which most likely they won't be there yet, but you have to create a contact for them. If you create a contact for the member, just don't designate or generate a number, a client number, because they are not a client. And so by the time that you run a report, you can just search for clients that have been assigned a number. And then select relationship. This is a daughter, employee, signatory. So you choose the type of relationship and then click link. This is the second step. And step 3 is where you create the actual case or matter, and you click here, create case. You're going to select the type of process. Now remember, this is customizable. You can have, for those that are new, you can actually have non-immigration cases added to this list. So you can customize these, or like social services, or so I'm going to pick a process, my location. Again, you can have more than one department or branch, and you can also make these customizable, especially for nonprofit organizations. You can add the grant info here, all these categories. If I want to use a system for non-immigration cases like personal injury, family law, criminal, or just social services, you can customize this, employment based, etc. My information as the attorney will transfer to the forms. If I have another caseworker, I can also add them to the list. And then the role. So if it's an employment-based case, the employer has to be linked as employer so that you can choose the signatory and the branch. But if it's a family-based case, then you can choose petitioner. That's the only difference between the family versus employment-based cases, as far as like the role. And then the employee could also be linked as the alien. In this case as well, I'm going to select alien instead of beneficiary, just because our forms are developed that way and they are expecting alien info. So you might as well just choose alien and it will transfer to the form immediately. And then you have the forms checklist. You can add or remove forms. And I'm going to click create. And it takes me to the case profile. One thing that we always recommend to do is that you click on the name of the person, and now you can open the client's profile. At the same time, you have the case profile. So where, if I'm already in the form, like I can access, if for any reason I need to access the account to make any changes, then I can switch to the contact, make the changes, and come back and refresh. This is why I was telling you to select alien, because on page 5, for example, for the I-130, it says alien and it transfers right away. Anyway, so today, again, we're not going to talk about forms. We do have a training next week for basic training for new users. You're more than welcome to join if you are a new user and you want to learn more about the system. Today, the topic is specifically for calendar appointments, deadlines, and reminders. But if you have any specific questions, please message me. You can click on where it says questions or chat and send me your questions. All right, let me see what's next on the, okay, the agenda shows creating reminders. Let me show you that you can create a reminder in both levels, the contact profile and the case profile. So I can click here, go to reminders, and then click reminders again. And I'm going to add the reminder. Now, if you are a new user or maybe an existing user, but you didn't know this before, you can customize the type of reminders. So this category drop-down menu can be customized. I highly recommend you do that, because when you run a report or simply when you get that email reminder, you want to know what this is for. Instead of just saying you have a task, well, what type of task or what type of follow-up? So be more specific, like this one, check with client about biometrics appointment details. The way you can customize this drop-down menu, you have to have access to the administrator portal, and it's going to be right here under types, type of reminders. Reminder at the case level or client reminder types. Just click and then add it. I think you can also insert. So if I want to add a reminder type between these two, I can insert, or I can also click and drag and modify these, whatever you prefer. Okay, let me go back. All right. So when you're creating a reminder, you're going to select the due date. So maybe this task for checking with client about biometrics appointment details has to happen next Friday. I want to get an email so I don't forget to do that. Maybe email me or send me a text message or both. You will get the text message if you are subscribed to the SMS optional module. I'm just going to select email. I want the email to go out the day before, and I want that email to go out at 9 a.m. Who's responsible for checking with client? I'll select Alberta Cruz, and I want to CC the client. So you can select the, okay, I'm going to choose the client and maybe the husband, or you can select more than one person to be emailed. And then, of course, the reminder description. We will be calling you tomorrow for the biometrics appointment, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so you create the appointment, the reminder description, and that's it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. We'll see. Okay, so if I create a reminder at the contact level, but I want to see reminders at the case level, actually, let me go to the tickler. Okay, I'm going to be showing you the tickler later on, but this is the fastest way if I want to see both. I can click on tools, then go to tickler, and this is where I can see both reminders at the case or at the client level. Client reminders and case reminders. This is a tickler, and you can customize the layout. So I can see not just my own reminders for clients or cases, but also I can show the data for everyone in the organization, all the case workers. And see how it tells you between 0 and 30 days, we have 2 reminders at the case level. Obviously, it's going to show you the case number and the type of reminder and who's responsible. And let me show you these. At the client profile, it will take me to the client's profile if I click on the link, and it's right here. This is the one that we just created. So it shows who's responsible, and then of course what type of category. This is why I recommend that you keep it as detailed as possible, right? So you know exactly what this is for. Alrighty, so that's how you create a reminder. Let me close this. All right, so the next one is the calendar. I can also use a shortcut. If I go here where it says reminders, appointments, I can create an appointment and link it to the case if I'm creating, obviously I'm at the case level, or I can just click on the client's profile, excuse me, and it's gonna take me to the client profile, and then I can just click on reminders, appointments, and add the appointment here. Now, when you add the appointment, see how it shows the different calendars? The reason why I can see Benita, Ray, and Kevin's calendar is because they have shared their calendar with me, and I can book an appointment on their calendar. I'm going to select the subject of the appointment, maybe the location, the type of, this is also customizable. Let me show you how and why you want to customize it, because you can color coordinate depending on the type of appointment, so that when you select the appointment and you look at the calendar advanced view, just by looking at the colors, you know how many consultations you have or how many court hearings you have based on the color. So the way you change this drop-down menu is over here. If you go into the administrator portal, go to types, and it's right here, calendar item types. So the calendar item types, again, you can rearrange them. You can insert, delete, or edit. And it's going to ask you to enter the name or type of appointment. And then, of course, you can choose the color. And that's it. Just save it. So by the time that you create an appointment and refresh your screen, of course, it's going to be right here. Medical appointment, on hearing. So I'm going to select that we have a court hearing. I'm going to choose my calendar, and it's not going to recur. We're going to choose the date for next Monday at 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. And then this is a description. Now, if you notice here, because I created the appointment from her profile, the client's profile, it's already linked. If I want to link it to a specific case, which is case number 869, then I can click here, plus or add 869. I'm going to add it and click done and then save. By doing that, when I go here and refresh, I'm going to see the appointment as well. So if I go to the case and I forget when is the appointment, I can also check the case profile and the client profile. Let me know if you have any questions so far. Now, if I click on the calendar icon, this is showing me the advanced view layer. Usually clients, what they do is by default when they first start using the system, is they pick their own calendar. I can look at Benita's calendar. Again, as long as they give you access to their calendar, you can access and make appointments on their behalf. This is where you could connect your calendar to Google, or if you have Office 365. And of course, if you want to see everything at the same time, then you select the advanced view layer. So when you select the advanced view layer, you have to click on the three dots. And then this is where you select, I want to see Vanessa's calendar and maybe Benita's. And I also want to see my Acuity calendar with all the reminders, all the case reminders, and the process text. So this becomes like a general calendar with everything in one calendar. This is the advanced view layer. Are there any preset? Yes, there are preset appointment types, reminder types in the system, but they are super basic. I'm pretty sure it's just like important, phone call, business. So I suggest that you customize them. Same thing for the reminders. I think the ones that come by default might say billing, deadline, or task. So I suggest that you change them. You're welcome. Does it update the 360 calendar if it's linked? Well, the advanced view layer will show those appointments, but not if you go here. So if I click on appointments, the Office 365 and Google Calendar events are not included here. So if you want to look them all together, and if you have them synced already, then yes. Look, I don't have them linked yet, so I can click on sign in with Google or Office 365, which is, give me 1 second. I'm going to show you the integrations in a moment. So let's start with the Office 365 calendar explanation. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna move this. It's gonna play a video and then let me know if you have any questions.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will go over the integration of Office 365 with eIMMIGRATION. Previously, the only integration we had was you could copy a link of your eIMMIGRATION calendar into Office 365. This means you could only create or modify appointments on eIMMIGRATION and have those appear as a separate calendar on Office 365. With the enhancement, you can now bring over your main calendar from Office 365 into eIMMIGRATION, and you can create or modify appointments on either Office 365 or eIMMIGRATION. Let us go to the homepage of the Caseworker portal. From the homepage, we will first want to enable some settings. Let us go to our user preferences. We will then click on Calendar to the right and select Settings. From here, go to the General Settings and click on the checkbox that says Connect to My Office 365. This will allow it to appear in the calendar view, which we'll see in a bit. We can modify more settings here, however, those we will revisit later in this video. Let us click Save up top. Let us now access our calendar to link our Office 365. You can either go to the home page or click Calendar up top. We will now see an Office 365 button. Let us click on it. When selecting it, you will be brought to link your Office 365 account. Either click on the account if you are signed on already, or it will require you to log into your Office 365 account. Once successfully linked, it should bring you back to your eIMMIGRATION calendar, and you should start seeing your Office 365 calendar appointments on eIMMIGRATION. Please note that even though we have integrated our Office 365 calendar, we still have the option of viewing calendar appointments from our standard eIMMIGRATION calendar by clicking on the Calendar View drop-down menu and selecting it. You can use both calendars simultaneously. If wanting to create appointments on this calendar or the Office 365 calendar we just linked, we can achieve this by clicking on the Calendar View drop-down menu, selecting the calendar we want to see, and from there either double-click on a date or click Add Calendar Appointment. It will then send you to create an appointment to that specific calendar. If we are in the Advanced view that lists both calendars and we try to create an appointment, it will ask you to select which calendar you'd like to create an appointment for. For this example, we will select our Office 365 calendar. You can add a subject, location, make it recurring, add the start date and time as well as the end date and end time, make it all day, add a description, and link any client or case. Once finished, you will click on Save. Your appointment will now appear here on eIMMIGRATION, but also, if I were to access my calendar from Office 365 or Outlook, I will see the calendar appointment has been created there. I can delete, modify, or even create new ones from here. Once I create an appointment from Outlook and save it, it will appear on your calendar on eIMMIGRATION. If at any point you want to disconnect your Office 365 from eIMMIGRATION, you can click on Log Out from Office 365 up top. The last thing to show you is the settings we previously saw. Let us go back to the User Preferences, go to the Calendar tab on the right and select Settings. On the General Settings, I can select the default view of my calendar. I can select the view to show me the week, the month, and so forth. I can have the calendar open immediately to my Office 365 calendar, my eIMMIGRATION calendar, or if selecting Advanced View, we can have both, which we'll show you in the settings below. We can then define the start hour, end hour, and first day of the week to show by default. If selecting Advanced View, I can define which appointments to see, meaning my Advanced View can show all appointments including Office 365 appointments, or just my eIMMIGRATION appointments. I can select to see either just my case reminders or client reminders, or I can see everyone's case or client reminders. And lastly, I can have it just show my process steps in the case profile, or everyone's process steps. Please note, these are just default settings when opening up your calendar. You can still see different information by selecting them manually once inside the calendar. Once I've modified exactly what I want to see by default, I will save up top. If I go back to my calendar, I will see my changes have been implemented. This concludes our video on the Office 365 integration.
Great. So those settings, again, you can find them if you click on the settings icon and then go to User Preferences and then right here, Calendar Settings. The other option that I had mentioned before, how to share the eIMMIGRATION calendar with each other, it's right here. You just add and then let them have full access so they can create an appointment on your behalf. The other integration that we have is with Google. So let me play that video as well so that you can integrate with your Google Calendar, and let me know if you have any questions.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will show you how to link your Google Calendar to your calendar on eIMMIGRATION or eCMS. By doing so, you can now see your Google Calendar in the Caseworker portal and create appointments on there. Let us log into the Caseworker portal. The first thing we want to do is change the setting that allows us to view our Google Calendar. Let us go to our User Preferences. To the right, you will select Calendar and then select Settings. If we navigate to the bottom, we will see a checkbox to connect our Google Calendar. Make sure to check it, and right beside it, you can decide what color you want these appointments to appear on your calendar. Once you have those selected, you will click on Save up top. We have now allowed the integration. Let us either go back to the home page and select Calendar, or click on Calendar on the blue bar up top. From within the calendar, you will notice a button to sign in to Google. Click on it. You will be prompted to log into your Google account. Sign in using your Google credentials. You will then get a message from Google. Please read through it as it is letting you know that by linking your Google account, You can now create, delete, and modify events in your Google Calendar through the Caseworker portal. On the URL, you will see your distinct client ID from Google. To continue, you will click Allow, which grants Cerenade, either through ECMS or eIMMIGRATION, permission to modify your Google Calendar events. You'll be brought back to the calendar in the Caseworker portal. You will start noticing your Google Calendar appointments appear. Something to note is the initial connection with Google may take up to 15 minutes, so if you do not see your appointments right away, do not panic. Give it some time and you will see those appointments appear soon. We are now ready to create an appointment on our linked Google Calendar. If we click on Add Appointment, we will see a pop-up appear. By default, it should have selected your Google Calendar on the drop-down menu. If it did not, click the drop-down menu and locate the one that has Google attached to your name. You will enter your subject, location if there is one, start date and end date, as well as start time and end time. Enter the description of the appointment. Lastly, you can link a client profile if you have created it in the system, and a case if one applies. Once you have this info set, finish by clicking Save. Our appointment has now been created and will appear here in the Caseworker portal. And if we go to our Google Calendar on a separate tab, our appointment has been created there as well. Additionally, if I create or modify an appointment through Google, the changes will reflect in the Caseworker portal. Because you've authorized Cerenade to use your Google Calendar, you now have the ability to create an appointment, change details of an appointment you originally created on Google, and lastly, delete appointments you originally created in Google, all through your Caseworker portal. Any modifications to your calendar appointments in the Caseworker portal will appear instantly in both your Caseworker portal as well as going directly to your Google Calendar. This concludes our video.
All right, so I'm back and I wanted to show this because someone asked me let me read the question. Give me 1 second. So the question was if users can be limited to deleting events. Now remember, you are linking your own Google Calendar. They won't see your Google Calendar when they log in. And as far as like limitations, we don't have a calendar limitation as far as like access rights. But I sent a message to our development team to see if there's any other area that I might be missing. So I'll get back to you on that. Thank you for the question. Let me go back to, so when you link or sign in with your Google, it's going to be your personal account, not for the entire law firm. So they can't pretty much delete an event if they don't have access to it. Unless you guys are sharing the same caseworker login credentials, then yes, they can delete an event. Let me go back to our presentation. And the last integration that we want to show you today, as far as calendar and appointments, is integrating with Acuity scheduling. So let's learn about that one. By the way, you need the professional, I think it's called the Powerhouse plan for Acuity because they need access to the API. And so if you have a basic Acuity account, it won't work until you upgrade to the Powerhouse. All right, so let's play this video and let me know if you have any questions.
Hello, and welcome to our Cerenade video. In this video, we will talk about the new option module titled Acuity Scheduling. With this feature, you can integrate your Acuity calendar. Acuity is a service that allows your clients to book appointments with a link. When scheduling appointments, they receive an email of the appointment and allow them to reschedule, which will reflect on your Caseworker portal as well. It is important to note that you must have the optional module titled Acuity Scheduling. You must also have an account with Acuity, specifically the Powerhouse version, as this allows API integrations. We will first want to link Acuity to your Caseworker portal. We will want 2 tabs open on your web browser, one that will connect us to the Caseworker portal and one for your Acuity calendar. Let us log into the Caseworker portal. From the home page, let us go to the user preferences. Once inside, you will go to the calendar tab on the right and select Settings. If we scroll to the bottom, we will see a checkbox to connect to Acuity, and we will see that the software asks for owner ID, user ID, and API key. We will now focus on our second tab for Acuity scheduling. You will log into your Acuity account. Once inside, you will focus to the sections on the left and select Integrations. From here, you will see a couple options. You will want to locate the API option, and once found, select View Credentials. You should now see your user ID and API key. You will copy each and paste it to its respective location on the Caseworker portal. Before we hit save, we still need to get the owner ID. You can get the owner ID by going back to Acuity, selecting Scheduling Page Link. You will have a drop-down menu with your different calendars. You will select the General Scheduling page, and on the link you will see the owner ID in the Direct Link section. If you do not see the owner ID, you can still gather that info by going into the Embedded Scheduler or another section here, and locate where it says Owner Equals. The numbers afterwards is your owner ID. Only copy the numbers and proceed to paste it on your Caseworker portal. Now that we have the user ID, the owner ID, and the API key, we can proceed to select which color we want it to appear on the calendar and finalize by clicking Save up top. The last part of integrating with Acuity is adding options to link client profiles from eIMMIGRATION to Acuity, meaning the name shown on Acuity will be the exact same on the Caseworker portal. Going back to Acuity, we will now focus on intake form questions. We will click on Add Custom Forms. You will name the form eCMS form. You will add 2 text fields and name them Client IDs and Case IDs. Please be aware how it is typed out and type exactly as you see. You will then check the box that says this form is for internal use only, don't show to clients. Finally, you will select for which appointment types you would like to apply this. Apply this to all your calendar types. You will finalize by clicking on Save. You have now fully integrated your Acuity calendar with your Caseworker portal. From the calendar, you will select your Acuity calendar. For the type, you will select the type from Acuity. Lastly, you will select With, and it will pull the profiles you have on Acuity. Once you've made the selections, the date and time will appear, the same available times you would have on Acuity. You will select the date and time of this appointment. You will then be required to link a client profile. If you don't have one, you can quickly create one by clicking on Add New Client. You can even link a case if one has been started. And lastly, you will enter your notes. Once finished, you will click on Save. By doing so, it will record the appointment on both the Caseworker portal and Acuity. And, depending on your Acuity settings, you will receive an email confirmation of the appointment, and your client will receive an email for that appointment as well. If your client reschedules through the email, it will reflect on Acuity and the Caseworker portal. This concludes our video on integrating your Acuity calendar with your Caseworker portal.
All right. So there was a question not related, but I think it's important for me to cover because it's pretty common. I would like to know if with a USCIS receipt number, the system gives us an alert when there's a change in the USCIS page. There is no alert per se. Like you do have to, by the way, have access to the USCIS Visa Button Times Tracker module. And when you go to the case profile, click on Documents. You'll notice it here, Immigrant Visas or Notices. And this is where you add the receipt information. So you're going to enter the information, the filing date, all the details, right? The classification, the center. I'm just going to add a couple of random selections. It populates the information from the USCIS processing times table, and it will email you when the case is eligible for processing. And this is what I meant by when you click on the link right here, it's going to take you the recent updates. So it is not an alert, but you can copy this information and keep it, save it into the profile as a log. But yes, you need to be subscribed to the Times Tracker module if you want to get that email notification. All right, so I am now going to show you the Smart Alerts feature. And the reason why I thought of including this is because if there's something with your office, let's say that you guys are going to close on Friday, and you want to alert all your staff members to, avoid scheduling appointments on Fridays. So what you can do to inform everyone every time they create an account, or not create necessarily, but open an account for a case or a client, you can schedule or add a global alert. In the admin portal, under the types, you're going to see global client alerts and global case alerts. So if I click on global client alert, I can add an alert and say info or warning. So you can select the type of alert, and this is going to be a basic one, maybe something like remember the, I don't know, hours will change, avoid scheduling clients on Fridays, or just to give an idea. But you're going to add the message, save it, and what happens is when your staff opens an account, any client, they're going to see this message as an alert. Remember, the hours will change about scheduling clients on Friday. So at least they'll get this. They cannot delete. This is a global alert. And if you notice, we also have it for when clients owe, if they have overdue invoices, they'll tell you right here if there's any overdue invoice, or if they have an adverse party, you can also select like an advanced global alert. So that might help you with, informing your staff, and you can always delete the alert right here. So those are the smart alerts. Now I would like to show you how to manage your expiration dates and deadlines. So let me access the account again for the client. All right, so if you click on documents, you'll notice that we have the passport information, I-94s, visas, but then there's also the user-defined documents. So I'm going to show you how you can customize these user-defined documents and how you can manage these expiration dates. Well, first of all, if you have a document such as a passport, visa, or I-94, when you add it, make sure that you check this box if it's the current one, so that we transfer their data to the forms. If this box is not checked, then we won't transfer or auto-populate the forms with this passport number. Just keep that in mind. Same thing for the I-94 and visas. Now, for those that are subscribed to e-filing, now you can import data from the CBP website, but make sure again that you are subscribed to the e-filing module. And we have the instructions there so that it imports the I-94s or travel info like the arrivals or departures. Now, for the user-defined documents such as fingerprint appointment, RFEs, 797, so these documents, you can customize this drop-down menu. If you go into the administrator portal under types, click on custom document types, and this is where you can customize them. And again, this helps if you want to use the system for non-immigration cases, any motions or anything that you need to keep track of. If it has like an expiration date, you can add, the type of document. And it's the same thing. You can rearrange, drag and drop, insert, delete. It's really simple. So just customize this drop-down menu and then refresh your screen, and it's going to be right there. So now if I have an RFE and I want to track that expiration date or filing date, approval, all of those can be trackable, especially if you guys have custom reports. You can run a report based on the type of document and maybe expiration dates. Those documents, as well as the reminders and the process steps, which I'm going to show you right now, they appear in the tickler, okay? And so even if it's a custom or user defined, you can see those expiration dates, and you can customize the time frames. Now, before I go there, I want to show you what those process steps are. So let's access the case window. When you guys create a case, On the right-hand side, go to process steps. Now, if you want to delegate, even if someone is not using the system, technically you can add them as a caseworker, and the system can send them an email so at least they know, probably maybe I have someone in the accounting department and I need to let them know about running an invoice on QuickBooks, or I don't know, so, or processing a payment. So you can schedule them or add them in the system, and when you click on process steps, their name will appear as one of the responsible, caseworkers. Again, even if the accounting person is not, or an intern, for example, is not using the system, I can still send them an email reminder. How these process steps will work. You can click on modify process steps. You need to add the start date. Now, the reason why they show up here is because in the admin, I have already customized my workflow or the timeline. Each office works differently, so these may not make sense to you. You can always edit these. If you access the administrator portal, click on case processes, and then you're going to see steps is one of the columns, steps. So if I want to customize the steps for citizenship or naturalization, I just click here. And then I can modify the actual task. I can modify the number of days or the time frame. In fact, I suggest that you at least add a 0. Okay, if you don't know how many days should it take a caseworker to do this, at least add a 0. Why? Well, because as long as you add a start date, it's going to auto-populate the target date or deadline, even if I have a 0. If I don't have anything, it's not going to transfer let me do this one. See? So at least add a 0 so that it transfers to today's date or that date, the same day. Anyway, so the idea is that you add the start date, and based on the number of days, it auto-populates the deadline, and then you can delegate. Even if you're a solo practitioner, you want to have your name here just because the system is going to email you when this is due. For example, let's say that on the 16th, I need to call the client for follow-up. Well, if I'm responsible and I haven't called the client for follow-up, or I don't click here, completed or done, then the system is going to email me on the 16th and I say you need to call the client for follow-up. So this is a good feature to utilize to keep everyone on the same page. Again, even if you're a solo practitioner, you kind of have those reminders, maybe not for every single thing, but those that are important, so that you get that email reminder when it's due. And these process steps auto-populate the tickler as well. So let me show you the tickler again. Now remember, if you go to your user preferences, you can customize a layout. Maybe you want to change the type of graph, or you want to change the time frame. I actually modify my process steps time frame. Instead of 0:30, I changed to 0:05, or you can do negative to see if anything's overdue. So here it looks like I have one step due between 0 and 5 days, which is the one, I need to call the client for follow-up on the 16th, right here. I can actually click on the link and it's going to take me to the case where I can see the process steps again. All right, now let's go back to the tickler. I can print my tasks. Well, right now it's only showing 2, but if I want to show the data for all the caseworkers, then now we have 6 tasks. And it tells me the case, the step number, and what you actually truly care is like, what is it that I need to do and when I need to do it? What's the priority? So this is also a great feature to utilize so that you can be, efficient and avoid missing any deadlines. All the expiration dates for the documents are right here as well, even the user defined, like the RFE, right here. And also, if you are subscribed to billing, your ticker will give you the receivables as well. Let me show you how to customize a tickler. You click here under settings, go to user preferences, and then click on tickler. So you can change the settings as far as like the chart type or the time frame or the layout. Maybe I don't care for process types or I don't care for billing information. So I can customize what exactly I want to see in my tickler. Now, one thing I just remember, if you go to your admin, the administrator portal under application settings, we have, give me 1 second. I think it's, sorry. No, it's not in the admin. It's in the caseworker portal. If you go to settings and then user preferences right here. So your default start page can be the tickler. If that's the first thing that you want to see when you first log in into eIMMIGRATION so that you know what is the priority based on the deadline or the type of task, then I suggest that you change your default start page to the tickler. You have these options. You can also select, I want to look at my calendar. Okay, so that could be, let me save and have the calendar as my default. Now let me log in. Oops, no. Oh, no, let me log out. Here we go. Okay, so I chose my calendar to be my default page. Alrighty, well, let me see if I'm forgetting. Oh, one thing I also want to show you is the client portal access. Why? Especially if you guys have Acuity. If your client, let me take you there. All right, so this is the client profile. If you want the client to be able to schedule an appointment through your Acuity calendar, if you click on client access, this is where your client, this is where you modify, should I disable the account, maybe add an expiration date, a watermark, etc. So here are the client access details. And I'm going to scroll down to here, schedule appointments. So this is for the Acuity calendar. If you are subscribed, so right now it says Cerenade support, but let's say it says consultation appointment or interview preparation appointment. So you can decide which type of appointments am I letting this person pick from, what type of appointments they can select. And then once I enable them, my client is going to log in into her client portal. She's going to access this icon, schedule appointments. And with Acuity, she's going to be able to pick the type of appointment and, of course, book the appointment as we saw on the video. So based on the availability that I'm offering, they can book the appointment right here. So this is also, again, something you can customize from Acuity. Let me close this. All right, so let's move on. So here are areas of the system that you're probably not aware of. Please make sure you download my PowerPoint presentation so that you can click and learn more about these features like the tag helper for letter templates, how to request documents via the passwordless link, especially for the new e-filable forms. This is a list. And if you are subscribed to e-filing, like I said, now you can import data from the CBP website. And here's a link to the video so that you can watch the tutorial. Now, when you have questions about not just the calendar or reminders in general, please call us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Pacific Standard Time, or you can email us 24/7. You have the access on your home screen where it says technical support message, or you can even send your feedback to our developers. You have the user's guide available with tons of resources. And we do these trainings for free on Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, except on holidays. We even have a podcast. Please click here to listen to the podcast. And we have a Facebook forum page. Now, if you're not subscribed yet, or if you haven't requested to join, please click on the link because you can learn from other clients when they ask questions. We have the YouTube channel. Like I said, these type of trainings or webinars, we record them. And so you can always go to youtube.com, search Cerenade Academy, and then please click here where it says subscribe so that you can get the notification when we upload new videos. Recently, we added a new feature where clients can pay using a link. So if you were not subscribed, how are you going to know when there's a new feature? Well, we do send newsletters and we do give you a system message. But yeah, looks like we have a couple of questions. I'll get to them in a moment. Let me go back. Some of the questions that you sent before were, can we link addresses of parents and children living with them so we don't have to enter them in the system more than once? Yes, let me show you how to do that. So assuming that I have the address already in the client, technically the parent, right? I have it right here. And then you have to link the members, the children are already linked. When you go to their account, and to avoid retyping the same address, if it's the same address, just go to addresses and you're going to click here where it says copy from. Copy from, and then you click select. It's going to copy the address from the parent's information. Let me do it for another member. Let me see, a member that doesn't have an address yet. I'm hoping this one doesn't have, yeah, this one has the address. Well, let me show you this one. The mailing address is blank. So you have the same feature. If it's the same as a US resident address, you click here. Copy from US residence. It's going to copy the address and then just save the changes. By the way, you have the same feature under the history of previous addresses. So if it's the same previous address, I can copy from, the sister's profile. So I'm just going to choose a couple and then copy them. So that's going to save you so much time. Thank you for the question. How to integrate the tickler with the calendar in eIMMIGRATION? Well, the advanced view layer calendar mode allows you to view all that's in the tickler apart from expiration dates, like the process steps and reminders and appointments, everything. So make sure that you choose on the calendar the advanced view layer. Next question was, may I export or share all my upcoming appointments via email as Excel? So yes, maybe your assistant is not using the system or vice versa, and you want to just get a report with all of your appointments, then we suggest that you subscribe to custom reports and create the type of report and then schedule it so that on a daily basis, maybe through Excel or PDF, how many appointments you have this week. So just select for how long do you want to get this report going, maybe 2050. And that means that, all appointments, I don't know if I have a report already created for that. Maybe the calendar, clients reminders by core hearing, for example. So I can send that PDF on a daily basis or Excel to whoever I want. I can CC, BCC, and they'll get that PDF automatically on a daily basis. So yes, you just have to be subscribed to custom reports, and then you receive that email for each appointment. Next question was, can I send a text message to a prospect prior to the consultation meeting via eIMMIGRATION? Yes, you can use the text message optional module to send them a text message reminder, including the link for them to pay for the consultation using the new link. And again, you have to be subscribed to billing and credit card processing. And also, I put the links right here so that you learn more about text messaging, billing, and the credit card processing module. Now, I'm going to read a couple of questions that were sent directly to me. How can I register? Oh, you mean for the Times Tracker module? Well, just contact your sales rep, contact anyone in eIMMIGRATION. You can even, Cerenade, you can click on technical support and then send us a message. I'm interested in getting the USCIS feature or Times Tracker, and then we'll, contact you with the quote so that you can upgrade your plan. Next question, after the event, of course, it can be removed from the calendar? Yes. If we want to create a new case for an existing client, do we need to create a new client profile? No. No, you only create one profile for one client, and then you can have multiple cases or matters for the same client. Basically, we can create multiple cases under one client profile. Yes, that's the answer. Or for each case, no. If we want to create a new case for an existing, do we suggest? Yeah, no. So just one account or profile for the client, and then go to cases, and you can have different cases for the same client. There's no need to recreate the account. Also, is case number same as client number? It could be, it's up to you. That's a great question. So if you go to the administrator portal under the application settings, technically you could have the same case number if your formatting is the same, as well as client number. So what I am doing is I have the client or the case number, then the first and last name and the date. So you can customize it this way so that you don't have to keep track of what's the next one, and that's going to help you. Great questions. Please let me know if you guys have any other questions. We still have time. But for those that have to disconnect, please remember we have 2 more trainings for this month. The basic training for new users is next week. And lastly, on the 28th, we're going to do a training on how to efficiently gather your client's info using system and custom intake forms and other tools. And as always, thank you so much. If you can please connect and listen to the podcast or join, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. How do we get the video? So the video of today's training, we upload to YouTube later, if not today, maybe next week. But once I have it, I can probably send you the link directly. But yeah, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. And the PowerPoint presentation, just click on handouts and download it. Oh, you're welcome. Have a good weekend, you too. Thank you, everyone, for your time and your interest. Before you go, let me give me 1 second. Where is this poll? I have to launch a poll and ask you if your questions were addressed during the training. If they were not addressed, it's okay, no hard feelings. Just let us know so that you can please contact your technical support specialist and they can help you with your issues. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for those that voted. And one more question. While you vote, I'm gonna remember that we have a referral program. So if you refer eIMMIGRATION to another colleague, they don't have to pay the installation fee, and you get $50 credit or gift card. So if you know someone who's still typing data directly on forums, or who's using a system that is not secure, something wise, you know what I'm talking about. Well, let them know to switch to eIMMIGRATION and have them save money, and you also get a $50 credit. All right, thank you, everyone. Let me share this. Awesome, 80%. Yes, we love the software. Thank you so much for your preference. And again, if you have any questions, please contact us for support, and have a great weekend. Take care.